What is good, Sixer Nation? Welcome on in to another edition of Philly Take with RB. It's finally that time, man. Disastrous season. Number 3 overall pick after sweating, wondering if they would even have this pick tonight. Well, here we are, 25th of June, 2025. Handful of prospects up in the air. Tonight, this franchise and their future changes. Whether for good or for worse. Will it be VJ Edgecombe, who most of us expect at this point? Will the Sixers take a blind swing and stick with Ace Bailey? Could they trade back? Trey Johnson, Kon Knipple, Kamen Malawach. Could they trade back up into the first round later tonight? We'll have you covered in all aspects, man. We'll break it down. We'll answer your questions. But it's the 2025 NBA Draft. And I'm ready to break it all down, man. Let's go. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm hyped, man. I'm ready to go. I'm locked in, man. This is a different feeling. I think this is my 5th or 6th draft that I've covered live, or at least dropped reaction videos about. This is the first time it's been like this, though, man. 3rd overall pick. Never thought I'd see the day. So the Sixers will be picking pretty early, probably around like 8:20 p.m., maybe 8:15 Eastern. Right now it is 7:30. We are live. We got over 100 people in here already. Welcome on in to Philly Take with RB. The Sixers 2025 NBA Draft Watch Party presented by Mando. Here's what I need y'all to do, man. First and foremost, hit the like on the stream. That helps us push this out amongst the YouTube algorithm. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. I'm sure we'll have a lot of new fans in here tonight. We gained a ton of new people during the playoffs, so even if you're not a Sixers fan, we will be talking about other teams as well, and you can still learn. You can still grow and just become a part of the family. So really good to see a lot of you in here again. And for my diehard Sixer fans, some of you I have not seen or talked to in a long time because you've been mentally checked out. The Sixers had one of the most devastating, frustrating seasons ever. And here's the chance to kind of right the ship. So the question is, where do they go and what do they do? First and foremost, I want to give some shout outs in the chat, and I want y'all to drop a comment right now. Let me know you're in the building tonight, and let me know what the Sixers should do tonight. Not your prediction on what they are going to do. What do you think they should do tonight? Should they trade back? Should they still try to trade up, even though it feels like it's dead in the water? Who should they take at 3? Give me your thoughts in the comments. We got a lot of the channel members in here. Thank you to all the members. If y'all want to become a member, hit that join button down below. And we will be live reacting to the pick. Kenny Smith, Fire Take GOAT, member for 43 months. Let's go, man. Kenny the Jet, what's up, bro? He says, draft Ace Bailey and demand a king's ransom. Well, you know, we have a lot to talk about with Ace Bailey. Also, I just want to say before I shout some of the comments out, thank you to everybody who, you know, supported my draft coverage throughout this last month and a half. Like I said, it's been like 5-6 years now since I've been doing this. And, you know, each year you learn, right? You get better. So especially having a 3rd pick, I really tried to dive in and watch a lot more of these guys and like look at different things and learn different things. So yeah, it was very interesting. And I put out a lot of videos, did live streams, put out content on all socials, you know, our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. So make sure you follow us everywhere, man. All the handles are down in the description. And yeah, man, thank you to everybody who supports us. You know, I know there's been a lot of discussion. There's been a lot of arguing on Twitter, and, you know, there's the really good discussions, debates that I've had. And then there's the crying 12-year-olds that, you know, bring up old tweets from 5 years ago and things that you've said before. And, you know, people that don't like Ace Bailey, people that don't like VJ Edgecombe, and people that, think that you're the dumbest person in the world if you don't agree with their opinion. At the end of the day, man, it's all, we all support the same team. You know, the goal in mind is to make this team better. That's really the goal, man. Like, we want to see this team get better, and they're going to do that tonight, hopefully, with whoever they select. So, yeah, man, it's been an interesting draft process. Of course, the Sixers had to get the most controversial draft pick in the draft. You know, they couldn't get number 2 or number 1. They had to get number 3 and kind of shake it up. So it wouldn't be the Sixers if it was any other way. But nonetheless, we're at number 3. I would say over the years, I've hit on about like maybe 75 to 80% of the players that I've wanted in these last 5 or 6 drafts. I've had some misses. Last year, I wanted Jared McCain. He was in my top 3. I had Dalton Connect, Devin Carter, and Jared McCain at 15, and they ended up taking Jared McCain. Obviously, that pick was controversial, and we saw how that played out. The year before that, they didn't even draft anybody, so it's been interesting, but now you're at number 3, and I'm going to get into my thoughts here in just a second, but let's shout out some people in the chat. I see our girl, Busy B, who's been holding it down with us in here. Great moderator and member. What's up, Busy? We got Banj, who says Trey Johnson. Cool J, what's going on? Another channel member. And Mod TMB, what's up? Rook, what's up? Says wake up the neighbors. Let's go. Hit that thumbs up button, man. Get Cooper flag. Yeah, I don't think that's possible. Crowley, what's going on? Terrence says pick a big man. Embiid will not last. RJ, what's up, brother? Fire Take Goat says yes, sir. D Futures, another Fire Take Goat, says should draft Ace and see how many first Philly can get out of Brooklyn. 3 minimum. Well, you know what's crazy, man? Brooklyn, they have 5 firsts now. They have 5 first-round picks now after that trade yesterday, which sent Kristaps Porzingis to the Atlanta Hawks and our boy, the minivan, to Boston. So, nonetheless, you know, it's going to be an interesting night. I respect everybody's opinion. Throughout this entire draft process, I found it so comical that people have gotten mad at Sixer fans that want Ace Bailey or want this. Look, I've dropped breakdowns on every guy. I think every guy brings value. The question is, what is the future of the Sixers? I think that's really like the overarching question that will impact everything moving forward. Do you think the Sixers are going to be a real contender next year? Or do you think that Joel Embiid is not going to get back to fruition? Paul George is going to be Paul George again, and they're leading towards a rebuild. I think really that should be the question that guides your thought process, because now you have Jason Tatum, who's going to be out for next year. The Celtics are retooling. The Pacers are going to not have Hallie for next year. And the Knicks can't even find a head coach. The Cavs have been second-round choke artists as well. So you look at the Eastern Conference, you're like, wow, it's actually wide open. But then at the same time, you're like, man, like, can the Sixers actually do it for once? You know, you can't keep leading us on and failing to deliver. So that's where we're at, man. Shams just said this a few minutes ago before I hopped on, about 20, 30 minutes ago. He says that the Sixers will stick and pick at number 3 and that there will be musical chairs starting at number 4. I personally am not going to believe anything until we see it, because there's been so many conflicting reports. There's been fake reporters making accounts today. So I'm not going to believe it all. But here is my overarching draft final analysis before we get into it tonight. The 4 guys that I would be happy with, or 5 guys in the top 10 tonight: Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson, Con Knuppel, or Kamen Malawach. Out of all the guys that I've scouted and watched, those 5 I think would be worthy of a top 10 pick. However, at number 3, my personal take is that Ace Bailey out of the group is the guy that I would project to become a star in the future. That's not to say VJ can't, or Con Knuppel can't, or Trey Johnson can't. I think they have certain qualities that could project, but overall game, looking at their traits, looking at their measurables, their situations, all this stuff, the guy that I've been highest on is Ace Bailey in the entire pre-draft process up until last week. I thought he made a lot of sense from a fit perspective. I mean, you can go back to the breakdowns, like we'll talk about it, but Ace to me has been the guy. However, Ace Bailey's camp literally does not want to come to Philly. They don't want to go to like 6 different teams, and they have literally pigeonholed themselves, and they are forcing their way to Washington. I've never seen a player that wants to go to Washington this bad. And if I'm being completely honest, and I haven't said this in any other videos, I feel like Ace Bailey could end up being a bust now just because of the target that's being put on his back, you know? Like, he's really rubbing people the wrong way. The way that he's acting, whether it's him, his agency, we're going to look at a couple more things here in just a second, but the way that he's acting, like, he's really putting a big target on himself. He wants to be a #1 option on day one. It's not the right mentality. Like, that's not how you go into a locker room from day one. So anyway, my gut tells me at this point in time that Shams is correct and that VJ Edgecombe will be the pick at number 3. We'll talk about him more in just a few moments. If I was the 76ers, and let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments, I would try to trade back. If they're not taking Ace Bailey, I would try to trade back with either the Wizards, the Pelicans, or the Brooklyn Nets. The Wizards have 6-18. The Pelicans have 7-23. And the Nets have 8, 19, 22, 26, and 27. I don't see any way the Nets pick 5 players tonight. Maybe they will. The Pelicans and Wizards have both had interest in Ace Bailey. Maybe the Sixers don't have a lot of leverage after Ace kind of tanked everything. But if I was the Sixers and I'm thinking about this team and the fact that they don't even have a first-round pick next year because it's going to go to Oklahoma City most likely, I would say that go get, you know, go get a pick or 2, move back a couple spots and get a pick next year. Get a first-round pick back next year. You know, add a couple picks in this draft, get a pick next year. I feel like that's what Howie Roseman would do. I feel like that's what some of these other GMs would do. But once again, Daryl Morey believes that this is a win-now scenario. He believes that this is a team that's going to contend next year and they're going to be like top of the conference. So he's looking for win-now impact. And I do think VJ Edgecombe brings some of that. But I don't know if I could see VJ being like a 5-time All-Star player. I think he can be like a Swiss Army knife and maybe a Defensive Player of the Year. But I do have some concerns about him as well. You know, and I feel like the anti-Ace crew that's just so anti-Ace has gotten mad at other Sixer fans that have or that bring up limitations with VJ or Con or whoever else. But fact of the matter is everything's a guessing game, right? You're banking on whoever you think is going to be that guy. There's some things that concern me. There are, for sure. Also, last thing I want to say before we get into some more stuff, it would be interesting to see if the Sixers, who have the 35th pick tomorrow night, try to trade back up into the first. I do think there will be some names at like the 20-25 range that could be intriguing. A couple that I name here, Colin Murray Boyles, he probably won't be there, but you never know, right? He can't really shoot that well, so maybe he'll fall. Rasheer Fleming is from Camden, New Jersey. He's a hometown kid, solid 4 who can knock down shots, improved a lot this year. And Cedric Coward has had a crazy rise in the draft. He's been one of the biggest risers, so check him out. Also, the last thing I want to say, which I have found pretty comical during this, you know, pre-draft process and even the last couple days, a lot of people, right? The main take that the anti-Ace crew has gotten mad at myself and other Sixers fans is that the Sixers are going to have a lot of guards if they take VJ Edgecombe. And the biggest argument has been, well, draft best player available. Doesn't matter. Best player available, top of the draft. And I do agree with that to a certain extent. However, I feel like people don't explain it enough. It's not draft best player available. It's draft best player available if that player is way better than the other options at that pick, right? Like if we're talking about Cooper Flagg or Dylan Harper and we say best player available, even though the Sixers have a lot of guards, yeah, you take Dylan Harper no matter what. You take Cooper Flagg, right? If we're talking about forwards. But the question is, do you believe in VJ Edgecombe that much more than Trey Johnson, Con Knipple, Common Malawach? You know what I'm saying? So I do worry about having another guard that also doesn't have a solid handle. He has a 6'5" wingspan. He's got great defensive instincts. I think he can knock down shots on the catch and shoot. That's another thing that people bring up. Oh, well, he shot 40-something% on catch and shoot. Well, did you actually look at the numbers? He only had, I think, 20 catch and shoot threes this season, or off the move, rather. Like, context matters. If you go back and you watch a lot of the Baylor tape, a lot of the time VJ's just kind of playing off ball, sitting in the corner waiting for a shot. Now, again, I think his defensive impact is great. But are the Sixers going to re-sign Quentin Grimes? Because then you're going to have Maxey, McCain, Grimes, and VJ. Are they all going to be able to play 30 minutes? You know what I'm saying? Like, at number 3, you want to pick a star. And if you don't think a guy is going to be a star, the best move is to trade back, get some more draft capital, and maybe position yourself next year to draft a star. Or draft 3 players instead of 1. So those are my main thoughts. I've liked a handful of guys. Those are all the players I would be happy with. Last year, I named 5 players before the draft. They all ended up amazing. So I'm hoping that these 5 will also end up amazing and that the Sixers will pick one tonight. Now, I want to run through a couple more things real quick. We got over 400 people in here. Do me a favor, like that stream, man. Get us to 100 likes and sub to our channel. We will be breaking down the picks. Couple things came out earlier. Ace Bailey reportedly completed a private workout with the Washington Wizards. I'm not going to go through the entire history of the past 2 months, but Ace Bailey didn't want to work out for any teams. The Wizards are high on Ace, and maybe not, he did a private workout with the Washington Wizards. His process has been so weird. I've never seen anything like it. I don't know why he wouldn't want to come here, play with a guy like Paul George, who has given him a lot of praise, who he looks up to, who he's compared to. I don't get it. But sometimes that's what happens when you're not represented by people that have your sole interest in mind. Oh, and one more thing I wanted to say about the guard room that has been going on here on, on Twitter debates and stuff. The Sixers are going to need a power forward. Like, people are like, yo, you didn't watch the finals. You didn't watch anything. Like, the Thunder were playing 3-guard lineups. Well, my response to that would be, number one, I streamed every game. By the way, we had the best live stream in channel history, 600,000 views on Game 7 live stream. But the Sixers are not the Thunder. Every year is different. Every team is different. The Thunder have 3 first-round picks, dude. And they have every guy on their roster locked up. If one guard doesn't play well, they bring in another one. If that guy doesn't play well, they go to a double big lineup. The Thunder have so much depth. So to compare the Sixers to the Thunder and say that because the Thunder ran a 3-guard lineup, the Sixers can run one, that's not true at all. The team, the dynamic is completely different. Nick Nurse doesn't even like to play 3-guard lineups that much. So who knows? Who knows? Anyway, let's move on. Ace Bailey was at the New York Mets game, and he threw out the first pitch, and a fan chanted at him saying, "Come to the Sixers," and here was his response.
Hey, Sixers! Come to the Sixers! Sixers! Come to the Sixers! No way!
So Ace Bailey was told to come to the Sixers, and he immediately turns around and walks away. Let's play that again. No?
Hey, Sixers! Come to the Sixers! Sixers! Come to the Sixers! No way!
I'm going to say this once and for all here. Ace Bailey, like I said, I feel like it would have been a great fit on Philly. Your mindset is going to have to change. I was watching the pre-draft interviews today on ESPN. He's got like a nice watch and a necklace, and he's like showing off a little bit. He's starting to give me Ben Simmons vibes. And let me tell you something. That first game at not even the Wells Fargo Center anymore, the Xfinity Mobile Center, whatever, in September and October, and whenever the Wizards come to Philly and Ace is on the Wizards, boy, I don't know if you understand, Ace, you're going to get booed, bro, the entire game. You are going to get booed the entire game. You know what's crazy though, man? Like Ace did like one of our Instagram posts a couple weeks ago talking about the Sixers and wanting them. I just don't get his mentality. Like, is it Ace Bailey or is it his agent? I did a full deep dive on his agent and how essentially it's a family friend who also used to coach him, and it's Sharif Cooper's dad who was formerly in the NBA and fell in the draft. So there's a whole thing. I did a breakdown on it, but if I was Ace Bailey, I would have hired one of the big agencies like Excel or Clutch to represent me. Because no offense, but you're putting a big target on your back. You're putting a big target on your back. So that's all I'm going to say. And he's going to get a lot of boos in Philadelphia. Also, Ace Bailey on ESPN a little while ago said, quote, "I'm just keeping the main thing the main thing. I'm trying to figure out if this dude is just trolling us or not." If you know the Philadelphia Eagles at all, or you're an Eagles fan or whatever, that's Jalen Hurts' quote. "I'm keeping the main thing the main thing." Like, I feel like at this point, the dude might be trolling. He's wearing a New York Mets jersey, throwing out the first pitch. "I'm just keeping the main thing the main thing." Like, come on, Ace, what's the deal, man? He had a workout and everything scheduled for last Friday, and then he cancels the night before. My only thing is, if you get a guarantee from a team, you get a promise, "Ace, we are taking you at number 5. Ace, we are taking you at number 6, 3, whatever it is." Why would you not want to work out with the team? Why would you not want to meet the coach and the GM and the other people in the organization, the trainers, the health coaches, and whatever? Like, why? Like, it's just giving off the weird, like, I am too good for this. I can do whatever I want, and nobody can tell me anything else. Just saying. Just saying. Lastly, here is VJ Edgecombe talking about his fit on the 76ers yesterday.
How do you think you do fit in with Tyrese Maxey? Embiid and Paul?
I feel like I'll be able to play off of them. They're great players. Embiid's an MVP of the league. Paul George is a runner-up before, so I just feel like I just fit in well with them. And even Coach Nurse, he's a defensive-minded coach, and I feel like I play a lot of defense. So, yeah.
How do you think you do?
So VJ Edgecombe says that he's going to fit in defensively. I love how he emphasizes defensive mindset with Nick Nurse. Hopefully he gets enough minutes, and hopefully he doesn't come back to bite the Sixers. My concern is that he's 6'4", might honestly feel like a bit of a tweener, and you could play him at the 2, but he doesn't really have a handle, doesn't really have a left hand. He could probably rack up 3 to 4 steals a game, and he's going to be a great point of attack defender, and he's got great instincts, hustle, played for the Bohemian national team. So, he's got experience, and he played 1 year at Baylor. He was exciting in the tournament, but question is, can he become that star? Can he become a star? So anyway, man, that is where we are at. We're about 10 minutes away from the draft beginning. 480 people in the chat. We're at 100 likes. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. This is the 2025 NBA Draft Special here on Philly Take with RB, presented by Mando. All right, y'all. As Ace Bailey is currently walking into the draft room, they're like announcing each player. If you have any questions in the chat, drop them right now. I'm going to take your guys' predictions in about 10 minutes or maybe 5 minutes. But if you have any predictions or questions or whatever, drop them in the chat. We'll read them out. Busy says RB has been going to war on Twitter. You know why I'm going to war on Twitter, man? It's because I've been as fair as possible throughout this entire draft process. Like, I have evaluated every guy that I think could be a fit, strengths and weaknesses, but there's just a crew of people on Twitter that feel like they have to be right. They want to be right. They want to prove you wrong. Like I said, they're digging up tweets from years ago, players that I wanted, 5 years ago in the draft. Like, guys, at the end of the day, we're all right and we're all wrong sometimes. Like, nobody knows what any of these prospects and how they're going to translate to the league, and, anything can happen. Sometimes a player can go to a certain team and that completely shifts them out of focus. Like, you never know, man. You never know. So I've tried to be fair with everybody. I've given my lists. I've given my mock draft board. And, the problem is you have these people online that, again, like, They don't show their face. They don't ever bring up anything up. They just want to be right. And they're fans of like certain players or certain things. And if you disagree with them, then you're the dumbest person on the planet. And they don't know how to like go outside and have a conversation and, you know, touch grass a little bit, you know? So simple as that. Simple as that. For example, right here in the chat, first comment I see from AB, not going to lie, RB, you were too much of an ace guy. Like think about that. Like, what does that mean, dude? What does that mean? You're like, people say these things. They don't make sense. They don't add up. What does that mean? I liked Ace Bailey more than any other prospect. That is correct. Until his agent did that stuff last week. So that's the last thing I'm going to say. I barely even respond to those people anymore, but it's like, you got to learn how to have conversations, you know? At the end of the day, the whole fan base wants the team to be better. Simple as that. Simple as that. Anyway, drop any comments, questions in the chat. We have Philly for Life member for 47 months. He says, am I wrong for still wanting Ace upside for me? No, you're not wrong for wanting Ace Bailey. You're not wrong for wanting anybody. To me, Ace has the highest ceiling. And you know what really ticks me off, Philly? I have this weird feeling that because it's the 76ers, they're going to pass on Ace Bailey and he's going to become a star. That's how I feel. And I really hope that's not the case. I hope he's not the next what if. What if the Sixers had drafted this guy? They had the third pick and then he becomes a 5-time All-Star in the first 7 years. Like, I really hope that does not happen. Please. Please. And you know what would be even worse is if he goes to Danny Ainge at number 5 in Utah. Danny Ainge and now Austin Ainge, his son, apparently said they don't give a damn about his agent. We're going to call your bluff. It is an interesting concept, right? Think about that. Like, if Ace Bailey goes to Utah, right, and his agent says, no, we're not going to play, it's not a Ben Simmons situation because it's not like you already got a 5-year max contract. You're a rookie, dude. You still need to show up to work. Are you going to show up and not try? What's that going to say to the other teams that want you? So I feel like they could call his bluff. I feel like they could call his bluff, honestly. TK says the haters are going to hate RB. Appreciate all your hard work. I'm in the Lehigh Valley and the Sixers games have been blacked out, so I appreciate your grind. I watch your stream every game. Thank you so much. Appreciate the people that have supported us these last 5 years. Guys, we have some big things on the horizon. I can't say any specifics yet, but we're going to continue to live stream all the games next year, pre and post game shows, keep you up to date with the news. We're going to do other coverage this off season. We've been live streaming the whole playoffs, had a lot of great new viewers tap in, some big things on the way. Also, one more thing before I answer a couple questions. We will be live tonight. I'm not sure if we'll do the entire first round. We'll do at least half of it. We'll be live tomorrow night for round 2. And I will be going on Friday. Friday's actually my birthday, so I will be going for a couple days. And then we will be back on Monday for our annual free agency live stream. So we'll be back Monday after this draft is done with, and we will do our free agency live stream. Obviously not going to be too crazy for the Sixers, but we're going to react to all the news. So I'm excited about that. I can't wait. I can't wait. For my birthday, though, I would like the Sixers to pick 2 players or however many they pick that impact winning and can be good players. And let's actually have a good season and not win 20-something games again, please. $2 super chat. Philly for Life says exactly what I'm worried about, RB. This kid is going to ball. All right, let's read a couple questions. Philly, thank you so much. Nelson, what's going on, man? Grace, what's up? Alex says, I'm a Lakers fan. Would love to have VJ. Shout out to Alex. Band's dropping the emojis. Members, drop those emojis in the chat, man. Let's go. 4 Aussies picked in round 2 this year, says Tika. Dart says, who would you like in the second round? Couple guys I like in the second round. We'll talk about more tomorrow night, but I like Adu Tiro, Ryan Kalkbrenner. I like Drake Powell, Tyrese Proctor. Those are some of the names that I'm looking at tomorrow night. But we'll see what happens. Wade, what's going on? Busy, thank you. Lou, what's up? Banj, what's good? Good to see you in here, Lou. Dom, what's going on, man? That will be my birthday wish too. Happy birthday, Wade. Let's see. Ace seems like the Shedeur Sanders of the NBA draft. I mean, it's interesting. I don't know if I've ever seen a prospect take this type of approach. It's crazy stuff, man. We'll talk about it more as we get through. Shout out to everybody in here, man. RB, Ace has a terrible attitude. He will be detrimental. Well, I don't think they're going to take him anyway. I don't think they're going to take him anyway. All right, ladies and gentlemen, make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button. Get us to 500 likes. We got 570 great people in here. Welcome on in to the draft special. Make sure y'all follow us on all platforms. Twitter at RB Philly Take. Instagram, TikTok at Philly Take with RB. All right, man, it's time. It's time. I want y'all to drop your predictions. What do you think the Sixers are going to do tonight? What are the Sixers going to do tonight? Leave it all out there. Drop any hot takes you have tonight, any trade stuff, whatever, even if it's for another team. What is your final prediction for tonight? Give me your boldest take, whatever it is. Final predictions. I'm going to give you mine, which I kind of already have, but we'll read yours out as well. Before I read those out, I got to give a shout out to our sponsor of tonight's show. That is Mando. Ladies and gentlemen, you got to check out Mando. Maybe you're trying to survive this hot summer heat. It's been 100+ degrees. It's hot right now. It just won't go away. I'm glad summer finally started, but you got to be smelling good. You know what I mean? You can't stink like maybe the Sixers this past season. You got to check out Mando, man. Whole body deodorant that controls both sweat and odor for up to 72 hours. And after just 12 hours, with clinical studies, underarm sweat was reduced by 92% when using their product. If you're someone who sweats a lot like I do, it is perfect for you. It is clinically proven to block odor all day. They just sent me their new and improved product, the Sweat Control Solid Stick. It's deodorant plus the sweat control, and it gives you double of the protection that you need. No more worrying about sweat stains, embarrassing pit rings, none of that. Just all day freshness and dryness. My personal favorite is Mount Fuji. I love the bourbon leather, very unique smells. And, you know, just keeps you feeling good throughout the day. So check it out, man, especially right now. And this is one of the best deodorants I've ever used in my life. It's so comfortable, doesn't irritate my skin, and lasts long. Shout out to Mando. They're currently America's #1 whole body deodorant formula, and you got to check them out. So I would check out the Mando starter pack over on shopmando.com. Comes with one of these solid stick deodorants, cream tube deodorant, and 2 free products of choice like mini body wash and deodorant wipes. And right now, they got a special promo going, 20% off site-wide and free shipping with our code PhillyTake5. So use PhillyTake5 on shopmando.com, 20% off site-wide and free shipping. Support our show. Let them know that we sent you. Shout out to Mando. Hopefully the Sixers don't stink up the joint tonight. It is officially time to kick off the draft. I'm ready to go. What is your final prediction? What is your final prediction tonight? My prediction is they stick at number 3 and they take VJ Edgecombe, and we will see if they trade back up into the first. That would be crazy if they did. Try to get some forward depth, maybe give up a couple extra picks to jump back into the 20s. We'll see what happens. All right, let's read out some predictions. RJ says Ace Bailey no matter what. Vic says VJ. Sean says tuning in from my ship here. I'm on deployment in the Caribbeans. What's up, Sean, from the Caribbeans tonight? Juan trade back. Jonas says RB the man with the plan. What's up, Jonas? Drew says draft Ace. Alex says draft VJ. Josephus says trade back. Who else we got? Travis says trade back. Rob says VJ or trade back. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be VJ, says not your average bowler. Ghostway says Ace Bailey. Let's see. RB, if we trade with the Wizards at 6, they take Bailey. Trey goes to Charlotte. Utah takes Fears. That means VJ's more than likely available. I agree. I agree. The Sixers could trade back and still get the guy that they want, which is why I would highly entertain it. I would highly entertain it. All right. I got everything ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, one important announcement. Please do not spoil the picks in the chat. Moderators, if there are people spoiling the picks before I announce them, feel free to time them out. And to do yourself a service, try not to look at the chat right when the picks are coming up in case somebody tries to spoil it. So that's where we're at. Brian Pumper, what's up? B Pump. Brian with the $5 super chat says, we don't want role players at 3. Maury, don't mess this up. Ladies and gentlemen, what are the percentage odds that the Sixers say screw it anyway and they still draft Ace Bailey? What's the percentage odds that Daryl Morey says, you know what, you're not going to call my bluff just like Ben Simmons, and we're still going to draft you anyway? Let's see. Let's go. Who else we got in here? Latitude says, I'm in Beijing for work. Let's go. Says Sixer Sam had to tune in from China to rock out with RB. What's good? We got China in the house. All right, man. We are officially off in the 2025 NBA draft. Let's hear what Adam Silver has to say. Got to make sure I can still hear this stuff. You know what I mean? All right, we should be good. Guys, 800 people in the chat right now. We are almost at 200 likes. Hit that like button for your boy, man. Hit that like button for your boy. Let's go. Welcome in. 99%. Sixer Sam in the house. What up, Sixer Sam? Don Boyle says it's possible they're going to make him into a man. Let's go. Don Boyle gifting a Philly Take membership. Drop those MVPs, channel members. Drop those MVPs. All of those members that are in here, man, we got to support each other. You guys are the best community. I appreciate you all so much. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go, man. All right, the Mavs are on the clock. I wonder who they're going to choose. I wonder who they're going to choose. Who will the Dallas Mavericks choose? What's up, everybody? Let's give some shout outs in the chat. We are off, baby. Pick number 1. Sixer Sam in the building. Busy B, what's up? Jesse, what's up? Darian, what's up? Clint, what's up, brother? RJ dropping the emojis. What's up, bro? Drew, what's up? Jonas, what's up? We're doing Eagles and Sixers vids, man. Check out my Eagles channel, A to Z Sports Philly. We just interviewed Dallas Goddard on that channel. That was awesome, man. Shout out to D Goddard. It's going to be Cooper Flag for sure. I don't know. Maybe the Dallas Mavericks do the funniest thing in draft history and they say, we'll take Dylan Harper. Oh, man. Who else we got? Darian, what's up, brother? What's up, man? All right, who do you guys want at 3? In case you're just tuning in, we got 800 people in here. Who do you want at pick number 3? Drop it in the chat right now. Show us some love, man. Hit those thumbs up. Y'all have been amazing. We have been dropping content all season. We've covered the entire playoffs. We've had a lot of fun. So the franchise changes tonight. Things get back on track. And this is where it all starts. This is where it all starts, man. I think we know who's going number 1, but according to all the reporters, though, there's going to be a lot of trades tonight. There's going to be a lot of trades tonight, according to the reporters, so. I've talked a lot about these potential prospects. I still think Ace Bailey has the highest ceiling, but his attitude and the way that things have been handled are probably going to turn the Sixers off. Also, VJ's the only guy that worked out with Philly. So, you know, it just feels like, according to his personality, which I heard is great, his maturity level, It feels like the Sixers are locked in on VJ at number 3. But yeah, man. Drew says the Dallas interview was solid. Thank you, man. Shout out to Drew in the chat. Ace at pick 1, and then we fight for Harper and Flag. Could you imagine? Could you imagine, man? The internet would actually break. It would break. Apparently, the way the Shams put it was there's going to be a lot of musical chairs at number 4 and so on. So we will see, man. Let's go. Let's go. We're going to drop the air horn one time, man. Can we get a yes, sir, going in the chat? Let's go. Yes, sir.
He's on fire.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. Sixer Sam's is not a fan of that toot. What toot are we talking about? Who's got toot? I'm here. I'm living. I'm enjoying stuff, man. I've enjoyed this whole pre-draft process. Like, you got to remember that the Sixers couldn't have even had a pick this year. Like, they got lucky to even get in the top 6. So we got to be grateful about that, man. As a Mavs fan, please don't put that idea in Nico's head. If Nico takes anybody other than Cooper Flag, he will have to have maximum security for the next 20 years. I'm not even joking. Could you imagine? Could you imagine if he took somebody else? What if Ace Bailey got a promise from Dallas? What if he got a promise from Dallas and that's why he declined everybody? It is crazy that they got awarded with that, though, if I'm being honest. That's wild, man. Guys, get those likes up, man. Let's go. Welcome in. Draft Watch Party Live. They got this ESPN reporter. I think he's in Cooper's house or some business. Dude, they got every... Oh, it's in his hometown. Cooper's hometown is going crazy right now. He's from Newport, Maine. Shout out to Coop, man. Shout out to Coop. Do you think Cooper Flag is going to be a top player in the NBA? Do you think he can be a top 5 player within like 4 years? I think his game is going to look a little bit different than what people expect, but he's going to literally impact winning at every level. He's going to knock down shots. He's going to be a very stout defender. He's going to grab probably 7-8 boards a night, probably average like 15, 20 points, but he's also in the perfect situation, man. He's with Kyrie and AD and all these guys, so he's not going to have to drop 30 a night, you know? Cooper Flag isn't out here like, yo, I want my own team, so I'm not going to Dallas. He's not like that. Dang, they got all the cameras surrounding him already. Why are they taking the whole time, dude? Why are they taking all the time? We know who they're going to pick. All right, here we go. The Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flag, Dallas Maverick. Cooper Flag is officially a Dallas Maverick as he receives a hug from his mom and dad and his brothers. Congratulations. Congratulations. Now the question is, dun, 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 will the Sixers trade up with the Spurs to take Dylan Harper? According to all reports, Dylan Harper has been wanted by many teams, including the Sixers. And yeah, will the Sixers find a way to get up and get Dylan Harper? Dylan Harper played at Rutgers as well. Obviously the lead guard for that team. Has a very nice tempo to his game. Feels like a guy, if he can shoot it well at the next level, that's going to project out to be a star guard for a long time. Will it be Dylan Harper? yes. The Spurs, although they have 2 guards, one just won Rookie of the Year, the other they traded for at the deadline. They got blessed with the 2nd overall pick. So honestly, I mean, the Spurs have to take them, you know, and they're going to have to figure it out later, as people say. Like, that's something I agree with, you know, where people are like, oh, well, draft best available. Yeah, because Dylan Harper is better than the rest. Like, tier 1 is Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper. Tier 2 starts at number 3. Which is still why Daryl Morey should be entertaining trade offers right now. He should be entertaining trade offers right now. I'm scared to go on Twitter right now because I don't want to get any spoilers. I don't want to get any spoilers on Twitter. What do we think, man? Chucky says, I can't respect that, RB. Are you serious? About what? Am I serious about what? I don't understand. Here's to hoping we get Coop in 6 years in free agency. I hate that they drag out the obvious. Busy says, get on the phone, Maury. Yo, Daryl has to be on the phone taking trade offers right now. Like I said, the Wizards hold 6-18. The Pelicans hold 7-23. The Nets hold 5 first-round picks. Daryl Morey, get on that phone, call up San Antonio, be like, yo, one last try. They said there was a report that said that Daryl Morey offered multiple first-round picks for Dylan Harper, and they didn't take it, which is wild. Wild. It is crazy that the Sixers pick is already coming up. I'm used to waiting for like an hour and a half, but we're about to be here already, man. We're about to be here already. We got 850 people in the chat. Hit that thumbs up. Subscribe to the show. Guys, we got content coming your way all year long. Shout out to the members. Shout out to the mods. Here's Cooper Flagg wearing his Dallas hat. Cooper Flagg worked out for the Mavericks. Cooper Flagg worked out for Dallas. He didn't say, I'm not working out for you. So what's up with that? Speed Demon says, are we getting Drew Holiday? I don't see the comparison right now, at least, from VJ to Drew Holiday. VJ does not have a solid handle. The same people that were arguing about Ace Bailey's handle, like, they don't acknowledge that VJ's handle is also limited. Now, again, VJ is going to be an incredible defender. He's going to be a guy right off the bat that can get you 3 steals a game, that can probably guard the other team's best scorer, or at least second best option. But he is 6'4". He's a bit of an undersized guard. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like there's still limitations. He's an okay rebounder for his size. I think he's got potential there. But I mean, he's going to have to develop that handle, especially with the left hand too. He's going to have to develop that left hand. We got the Philippines in the chat. Shout out to the Philippines. Yo, where's everybody watching from tonight? Where's everybody watching the live draft show from tonight? Shout out some of the people in here, man. Let's go, man. Maury's been trying to trade back all week, they said, says Vincent. Yeah, I mean, if I was the Sixers, I would entertain trade offers right now, up until there's no time left on the clock. We got Vegas in the house, Massachusetts, my car, Philippines. Secret, what's going on, bro? I don't see you in here, but what's up? Let's go. We got the UK in here, Maryland, NC, Philly, Cameroon, Maryland, New Zealand. Let's go. Lancaster, PA. What's up, everybody? Brian says, RB, we're about to draft a role player. Either way, there's going to be a lot of controversy with this pick, but all I'm saying is out of the group of players that I mentioned earlier, VJ, Trey, Malawach, Concanipple, and Ace, all of them have some liabilities. All of them have weaknesses, you know what I mean? I don't think anybody projects any of those guys to be the day one star, but we'll see. Zach says, telling you now, we need to draft Ace. We had Thibault and Springer, both amazing on defense, but we couldn't play because they couldn't do anything else. I hear you, Zach. I hear you very loud and clear. I think it's a valid point. VJ's going to have to develop offensively. Did not have a lot of volume, especially on the catch and shoot in college. It is concerning. And that's why I say, even though the numbers may look good, you have to still watch. You know, you got to watch different contexts and things like that. Delaware in the house, Athens, Greece, Philly in the house, Rhode Island. All right, here we go. Australia in the chat. Dylan Harper goes number 2. Dylan Harper's off the board, and the Sixers are on the clock. Ace Bailey gets up and applauses his boy. Who will it be? All right, I'm not looking at the chat. Number 3. Will it be Ace Bailey? Will it be VJ Edgecombe? The long-awaited question that we've all been waiting for. It all comes down to the next couple of minutes. The 76ers are on the clock. Will it be Ace Bailey, the 6'7", 6'8", 6'9" forward out of Rutgers? As he is currently dapping up Dylan Harper, even though he's on the clock. It doesn't look like Ace Bailey's receiving any phone calls right now. I'm just saying. Obviously, he's dapping up his boy right now. But, yo, Ace, any phone calls? Where's VJ? Panda VJ. Will it be the 6'4" guard out of Baylor? Will it be Trey Johnson? Will it be Con Knipple? Will the Sixers trade back? Let's see what happens. $2 super chat from Words Matter says we never play rookies. That is a very realistic possibility if we draft another guard. That's very true. That's very true. Sixers better be on the clock right now. I don't want to look at anything on my Twitter right now. I don't want to be spoiled at all. We'll see if they say anything about Philadelphia. Almost 900 people in here. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button. Let's go. Let's go, man. Who will it be? Will it be Ace Bailey? Will it be VJ Edgecombe? Will it be Trey Johnson? Will it be Con Knipple? Will it be Common Malawach? Will Daryl Morey trade out of the pick? It all comes down to this. Keep in mind, the only player that they worked out, at least that was reported wise, was VJ Edgecombe. They said he struggled shooting the ball in a one-on-one workout, but he was very mature, professional, held his head high, and spoke well, and talked about the great fit with the Sixers. They had Maxey there. So it feels like it's going to be VJ if they stay, as the Sixers are on the clock with 3.5 minutes to go. But you never know. You never know. Bobby Marks team needs for the Sixers. Facilitator, 3-and-D wing. Well, I know a 3-and-D wing. Don't know if they're going to pick him, though. I don't understand why they're not panning to other players. Why are they not showing other players right now? Do they not want to spoil it here on ESPN? For the first time ever in the history of this channel, we are reacting to a top 5 pick for the 76ers. They have pick 3 and pick 35. We'll be here to break it down right after the pick is made. Yo, can we get some fires going in the chat? I'm not looking at the chat right now, but can we get some fires going, man? Just to finally celebrate the end of this pre-draft process. We can all stop debating each other and we can all just support the same player, whoever's drafted, and we can get ready for hopefully a great season. Sixers are still on the clock. Maybe Daryl Morey's phone is buzzing. Maybe his phone's ringing right now. Who knows? '76ers had a 23-win decrease from 23 to 24. Obviously dealt with a bunch of injuries. So the question is, will they draft the win now piece in VJ Edgecombe? The defensive-minded player, 6'4" guard out of Baylor, who can spot up on the catch and shoot, even though he had a limited volume this past year. And a guy that needs to develop his handles. Will they really draft another guard, or Will they say screw it and take Ace Bailey regardless at number 3 and call his agent's bluff and say, you're not going to Washington, you're coming here to Philadelphia in a perfect fitting environment, in the perfect situation, despite what you think? Or will they surprise everybody and draft Trey Johnson or Con Knipple or Kamen Malawach? Or will they trade back? It all comes down to this. 1 minute to go and the Sixers are still on the clock. Could they be fielding trade offers? Let's see what happens. I am ready to go. I am ready to go. Either way, the Sixers almost didn't have a pick in this draft. Their pick was top 6 protected, and they end up climbing into the top 6. They get to number 3, and it wouldn't be the Sixers if it was any other way. They had to get the pick that had the most controversy. Obviously, we'll see what happens in free agency. You know, will they re-sign Quentin Grimes? We'll see what happens, man. A lot to come into the equation soon. Yabusele, but they get to get better tonight by drafting a player. VJ Edgecombe is smiling. VJ Edgecombe with a nice grin. Will it be him at number 3? Like I've said many times now, and I'll say it for the final time, I think VJ Edgecombe has the lower ceiling than a guy like Ace Bailey. I think he can impact winning from day one. I think Daryl Morey believes this roster is a contender next year and that VJ will be a plug-and-play piece that can impact winning right away. But how will he fit in a guard room with Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, even Quentin Grimes if he's resigned? And will he get the sufficient minutes? Will he be able to develop his game? And will he at least be a solid role player for a long time? It's a tough pick here at number 3. And the 76ers pick is in and will be announced momentarily. Jay Billis, best available: Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, Trey Johnson, Con Knipple, and Colin Murray Boyles. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Adam Silver making his way out to the podium. The Sixers at number 3. The Sixers select VJ Edgecombe at number 3. Yes, sir. VJ Edgecombe has been selected by the 76ers at number 3 in the 2025 NBA draft. We'll talk about VJ here in just a second, but it is official. Question is the Sixers franchise going to call it a night? Will they trade back up into the first round? There's a lot to keep our eyes on, but it is finally official. VJ Edgecombe, 6'4" guard out of Baylor, will be making his way from the Bahamas to Philadelphia. $5 super chat from Estelle says, let's get Ace. Let's get Ace, says Estelle. Well, that dream is over. It is not happening. It will be interesting to see where Ace goes here in the next 10 to 20 minutes. I believe it'll be Washington. I don't know why Ace Bailey wanted to force his way to Washington to try to be a number 1 option on a team that hasn't won anything in a very long time and probably never will. I don't know why Ace Bailey did everything in his possible, whatever, his whole camp, and he did everything in his power, essentially, to not come to Philadelphia. And I think his agency, his representation stirred him up and, just sent him the wrong direction, guided him the wrong way. But it is what it is. It's in the past. I hope Ace doesn't become a superstar now. But VJ Edgecombe is the guy at number 3. So we will break it down. What is your instant reaction? Chat, drop it right now. How happy are you on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the happiest, 1 being not happy at all? What do you think? I'm going to give you my instant analysis and reactions right now on VJ Edgecombe He averaged 15 points a game, 5.6 rebounds, 3.2 assists. He shot 43.6% from the field, 34% from three, 78% from the free throw line. And VJ Edgecombe, couple extra things to know about VJ Edgecombe. So again, he's from the Bahamas. He played on the Bahamian national team. The main strengths of his game, he's probably the best athlete in this draft. He's a pretty solid spot-up three-point shooter, although he didn't have a ton of volume in his 1 year at Baylor. He's a decent movement shooter as well. Again, didn't have as much volume as I would like, but I'm sure that will continue to develop. Solid downhill driver, a little bit of a tough finisher around the rim, but can definitely improve. His on-ball defense is excellent. He is an absolute Swiss Army knife. I think he's a guy who can impact, winning defensively at the next level. I think he can do that on day one. And he's a pretty decent rebounder for his size as well. But 6'4", 6'5" guard. He's got a 6'7" wingspan. Not the longest arms by any means. He's not a primary creator. He's not even really a secondary creator. Limited shot creation, limited at-rim finishing ability as of right now. And he doesn't really have a pull-up game. So really, I feel like his role is as a 3-and-D guy day one with this Sixers team. And he talked about that himself, saying that, that's going to be my way to fit in. He talked about his defensive mindset, about Nick Nurse, and he was the only guy that the Sixers had in for a workout. He impressed them a lot, and Ace Bailey had a workout scheduled, never ended up actually going through with it, and he canceled the workout and I guess has a guarantee. Couple things that concern me about VJ Edgecombe. Once again, not a good wingspan for a 6'4" guard. You would want him to either be maybe like 6'6", 6'7", or have like a 6'9" wingspan. But hopefully his mentality, the way that he has answered questions, all of his maturity, and really just his high motor. Like, he's a dog. He's a competitor, and he is a guy, again, that will impact the box score in different ways. He will impact winning, not always by putting up the best numbers, but he will be able to impact the game, beyond where you actually watch the game and see what he's able to do. Had a couple cold stretches last year. Like I said, did not shoot that well off the pull-up, but that's not his game. That's not his game. A couple of his draft comps were Drew Holiday, Victor Oladipo. I personally don't see that right off the bat. I think he's got to develop his handle a lot more. But based on his work ethic, and Daryl Morey has drafted guys that, he's really liked in terms of work ethic, Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, and he's hit on those picks because those guys are willing to get in the gym and get better and improve. And VJ had a couple nice games in the tournament, and now he is in Philadelphia, and he will need to develop more at the next level. But the biggest question, and we'll end it off with this, as we look back in a couple years, is should the Sixers have traded back from number 3? Because Cooper Flagg and Dylan Harper are the 1-2 combo, right? That is probably tier 1 in this draft. But can VJ Edgecombe's ceiling ever get to the point where he's going to be a 4, 5, 6-time All-Star? Can he be that guy? Can he be a first, second, third option on a winning team? Or is he just going to be that supercharged specialist type of role player, like an Alex Caruso? He reminds me a lot of Caruso in many ways. And you want to have a guy like that on your team. I mean, shoot, Alex Caruso just helped the Thunder win a championship. But the question is, do you draft a guy like that at number 3? Or should you have tried to trade back, collect a couple more draft picks, and add on more players? Unfortunately, the Sixers fell in the most controversial slot in the draft, and they didn't want to call Ace Bailey's bluff, and they believe in VJ Edgecombe. So the question that we'll look back on again is he going to be that guy? Will he impact winning to that degree? Or is his floor just very high, and he'll be a solid role player for a long time? I still think there's a bit of a wonky fit with the guard room. Like I said, Quentin Grimes does a lot of similar things. Daryl Morey has pretty much confirmed that Grimes is going to be re-signed. You have Jared McCain coming off an injury, Tyrese Maxey, and I don't think the Sixers can always roll with a 3-guard lineup. Matter of fact, I don't see any way that VJ plays the 3 as a 6'4", 6'5" guard. I think that is an incorrect take. And I think he's more of a tweener, probably more of a 2, but he's got to develop his game. So that is my overall take on VJ Edgecombe. Daryl Morey goes with the win now mentality and the guy that he thinks can help impact this team now and in the future as well. What do you guys think about this pick? Drop your rating 1 to 10 in the chat right now. We'll react to some of your comments as well. Like I said, my guy throughout this entire process was Ace Bailey. And then his agent started to do all that stuff. So I had a really good feeling that Ace was not going to be the pick. But I would have liked to trade back. I still feel like you could have gotten VJ. I still feel like you could have gotten VJ at number 5 or 6 and collected an extra pick or 2. But that's where I'm at. All right, here's pick number 4 coming up. We'll react to this, then we'll read your comments. Now that VJ's off the board, who will the Hornets take? My guess is Con Knipple. There it is. Con Knipple goes number 4 to the Charlotte Hornets. Two Duke players in the top 4. A lot of people liked Con Knipple, but I don't know if he was worthy of the 3rd overall pick. He's going to be a good player. High floor. Really competes. But the question is, you know, this 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 range, like how good will they be? $2 super chat from Bill. He says, enough drama on the team. This was the better way to go. And if you think the same way as Bill, then I agree with you because VJ is not going to bring any drama. He's a guy that's going to fit in however he can. He's going to slide into whatever hole he can and just, you know, again, try to impact winning from day number 1. Now the crazy question is, will Ace Bailey go to the Utah Jazz? Because Danny Ainge has said he doesn't care about what Ace's agent thinks, but we'll see what happens. My guess is that Utah goes with Trey Johnson at number 5, but we'll see. Let's see. 6.5 in the chat, 7, honestly a 2. John says 10, Albert says 0, Case is 2, Core says 8, Finn says 8. What else? Gerald says 7. Brian Pumper says trash. Exactly, RB. Nobody else wanted Edgecombe. I think the Hornets may have taken him, but I started to hear that they were very high on Con Knipple. They were very high on Con. So I do think it's interesting. But VJ Edgecombe is your newest 76er, and he is coming to Philly. He is coming to Philly. Give me your thoughts in the chat. We'll continue to read them all out. Let's hope this is the right decision, man. Let's hope. They need a guy. They need a guy. I mean, you tanked all season. You know, you had a disastrous year. Like, let's hope it paid off. $5 super chat from Philly for Life. He says, swear we just used the 3rd pick on a role player RB. I don't see it with VJ. Could have moved back and got him. If Ace is a dog, I'm going to be hot. So Philly for Life says, man, we should have traded back and still got VJ. Listen, man. I mean, I've said it the whole time, you know? Like, it's interesting. It is interesting. We'll see. Like I said, I'm happy with any of the 4 or 5 players I mentioned, but I do hear you, man. Like, I do feel like VJ's comparison right now is like an Alex Caruso type. I still think he has a lot of room to develop, right? Alex Caruso's 31, whereas VJ's 18. So there's a lot of time and a lot of distance to go. But let's hope. Let's hope we're all looking back saying, man, we're glad that they picked VJ Edgecombe. I thought they were going to try to move up. I know they did, but you know, the Spurs were not budging on Dylan Harper, and I don't blame them. Top Shot Tesla gifting a Philly Take membership. Let's go. Drop the MVPs for our boy, Top Shot Tesla. Philly says, is it an L for us if VJ is just a role player? $2 super chat. I think that's a really good question. Again, I feel like it goes back to what you think the Sixers are going to be. Let me ask you guys this in the chat, honestly. I want your honest thoughts right now. This is the underlying question for everything else we will talk about and have talked about. Will Joel Embiid and Paul George ever play high-level basketball again? That's literally the only question. That's the only question because, listen, if those two can get back to form, then I think the VJ pick is wonderful. Because, again, he's like having a supercharged, electric role player who can knock down some shots and, be a defensive pest. And I think he makes a lot of sense. But throughout the entire pre-draft process, I said, look, you got to look in the long term too, because there's no guarantee with Joel and PG. If they can't come back and those contracts are a wash, you're going to need a guy to be a star with Maxey and McCain, etc. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about it. $5 super chat from DJ, a.k.a. Mr. Sandman. What's up, DJ? Thank you so much. He says, if the Sixers don't make any more major moves, what do you think will be the 8-man rotation? Who says we're going with an 8-man rotation? Well, I think Grimes is going to be resigned. So, honestly, I think it'll be... And here's the thing, DJ, which, again, nobody's acknowledging, I feel like, except for myself and a couple others. The Sixers don't have any power forwards. And if you watched my free agency breakdown video earlier this week, the Sixers are probably not going to be able to re-sign Gershon Yabusele. So when you think about it, I mean, who's going to play the 4 for this team? You can't run 3-guard lineups every game. You just can't do it. So honestly, I mean, I think there's still more work to be done, but I think Grimes will probably start at the 2 if he's back, and I think McCain and VJ will be first 2 off the bench. $2 super chat. Top Shot says, avoiding spoilers, dropping in. How are we feeling? Hopefully I answered your question, man. Thank you so much for gifting a membership as well. Shout out to you, man. Let's see. Who else we got in here, man? $2 super chat. Hayden Azanaro says you would still re-sign Grimes, right? I would, but I do feel like Grimes and VJ are, in a way, similar players. I feel like they are a bit similar, so it is going to be a wonky fit. Nick Nurse is going to have his work cut out for him, but they're going to need some forward depth. Right now, Paul George is your starting 3, and who's your starting 4? You don't have one. Kelly Oubre? You can't start Paul George at the 4, man. The Sixers have had a rebounding issue for a long time. They've had an issue for a long time, so I don't think that you can continue to do that. All right, here's Utah. This is where it gets interesting, man. This is where it gets interesting. Will it be Ace? Wow! Wow! They took Ace! Oh my gosh. It's coming true. Exactly what I said. Danny Ainge took Ace Bailey. Danny Ainge took Ace Bailey. I told y'all, Danny Ainge had the balls. He wasn't willing to budge. He didn't give a damn. Oh my gosh. Oh, please don't let this be another Fultz Tatum thing. Please, man. Oh my gosh, man. Wow. 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 And I'm not comparing Ace Bailey to Jason Tatum, by the way. I'm not comparing Ace Bailey to Jason Tatum. What I'm saying is I hope that Danny Ainge did not pull another fast one over on the Sixers. Did Danny Ainge go to Ace Bailey and tell him to tank his stock? I am now 100% rooting against Ace Bailey. I am rooting against Ace Bailey. I can't believe he went to Utah. They said he wanted to be on the East Coast. They said he wanted to play between Atlanta and New York. I knew damn well that it wasn't adding up. The math was not mathing. Philadelphia is between New York and Atlanta. And he goes out west. Yo, man. Yo. That is crazy. Danny Ainge is hilarious, man. Danny Ainge, you are funny. You are funny. Wow. Wow. The first time Ace Bailey comes to Philadelphia, watch out, man. Watch out. What do you guys think about Ace going to Utah? That is unbelievable. I can't believe it. I said it, what, 20 minutes ago? I was joking. It really happened. I'm so tired of Danny Ainge. And the Jazz haven't even been that successful. Let's see if Ace Bailey actually wanted to go there, though. That's the question. Did his agency lie to everybody and pull off a fast one? Or did Danny Ainge really just stand up with his chest out and say, I don't give a damn if you want to be here or not. You're going to show up to work because we think you're the best talent on the board. The draft is wild, man. The draft is wild, man. Oh my gosh. Nah, yo. That's crazy, man. That is crazy. $5 super chat from John Mack. John, thank you so much. Says VJ was the pick. We finally have a super sturdy backcourt. Our small ball lineups might be sick. They might. They might. But the question for me is, how will Nick Nurse navigate playing VJ Edgecombe along with Quentin Grimes, Tyrese Maxey, and Jared McCain? How will they navigate? That's the question. And will the Sixers have enough forward depth, and will they have enough rebounding? That's the question for me. Now, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Maybe Utah is going to do what a lot of people propose that the Sixers should do. Maybe they're going to hold an auction here. Hey, who wants Ace Bailey? Going once, going twice. Washington, we got your guy. We're going to hang him out right in front of you. Do you want him? We're going to hang him out for, I don't know, for 2 first-round picks. If you want him, Washington, you got to come get him. Maybe they'll do that. I don't know. But I know Danny Ainge has stones, man. He's not afraid. He's not afraid. Wow. Wow, man. The draft is insane, man. They really pulled off a crazy... I want to see what the next report is about Ace and whether his agent is cool with this or not. If Ace Bailey fires his agent and hires a different one, I will be so heated. I will lose it. $2 super chat. Philly for life says, knew it would be something like this, RB. We got played. Oh, we're going to have to hate watch Ace Bailey now, man. We're going to have to hate watch Ace, man. Why couldn't he just go to Washington? Why couldn't he just go to Washington? Anyway, speaking of Washington, they're up on the clock. And there have been a couple players at this pick that have been mocked. Ace Bailey was the main guy, but could it be Trey Johnson? Could it be Jeremiah Fears? I think those two would be my top selections here. The Wizards just made a very odd trade. They got CJ McCollum. I don't know why they did that and got rid of Jordan Poole other than creating future cap space. I think Washington is actually going to go. Let's see. The Pelicans are up next. They could trade out of it. I think Washington's going to go and take Jeremiah Fears. That's my gut instinct right now. I think they're going to take Jeremiah Fears. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What the Sixers should have done is they should have drafted Ace and then traded him to Utah. They should have drafted him and traded him to Utah. Ah, man. Danny Ainge does it again. They need a franchise point guard. Yeah. Jeremiah Fears, in my opinion, is a big gamble here. But I also think he could end up being one of the best players in the draft in like 5 years. He's just turned 18, I think, or he's still 17. Very young, crafty, twitchy player. Didn't have the shooting consistency at Oklahoma, but he reclassified. He's a very young player. All right, let's see who the Wizards take now. Well, I'm wrong. They take Trey Johnson. So the Wizards probably go best available. They take Trey Johnson off the board. And I know they are probably heated. I know they wanted Ace Bailey. And now Trey Johnson is going to the Washington Wizards. So that is where we are at. This is crazy, dude. This is wild. Dude, my Twitter is blowing up right now. I'm just trying to see what's going on, and people are so mad right now, some of them. All right, let's go to the chat. Dom says Sixers are the worst. Music says in VJ Edgecombe. How do we feel about VJ, and how do we feel about Ace going to Utah? I know the Wizards are so mad right now. They wanted him. Trey looks so disappointed. They said Trey looks disappointed. Somebody just tagged me on Twitter. They said Ace Bailey looks disappointed in his draft photo with Adam Silver. So Sterling with a $1 super chat. Thank you so much, Sterling. Appreciate the support. Shout out to everybody in here, man. If y'all haven't yet, hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe to the channel. We're live reacting to the first round of the NBA draft. Sixers take VJ Edgecombe at 3. Ace Bailey goes to Utah. We'll see how that plays out. I know Ace has to be pissed off going to Utah, man. Basically, the Hornets pick Khan. Why do y'all connect every bad thing with the Sixers? Hope he's infuriated. He deserves it. Can we get marketing from Utah? No, we can't. I don't think so. Let's see. As a Spurs fan, I hate Dylan. We need another big. If Ace is so good, why didn't Charlotte take him? I don't know, man. They were probably worried about all the reports. I'm surprised Utah actually did it, though. It'll be interesting to see, you know, what comes next with all that. But now the Pelicans are on the board, and Jeremiah Fears has been linked to them. Same thing with Malawach. I think they could go with either one. We took a player who's too nervous to make shots in a private workout. How nervous will he be in an actual game? Oh, man. I do think VJ will knock down his shots on the catch and shoot. But my thing is, will he be able to become a ball handler? Because, again, if he's just going to be a 3-and-D guy, yeah, I mean, he could be a nice, you know, spot-up 6'4" 2 guard as long as he's, you know, playing at, like, defensive player of the year level. But you want him to add more to his game. He's shown flashes of it. He didn't get a lot of volume in his 1 year at Baylor. But I like his mentality. I like his work ethic. I like his maturity. Every answer you heard from VJ was very professional, and I do think he will be in the gym, and I think he'll be working hard on his game. You can run 3-guard lineups effectively. You need a front court to go with it. And that is the key right there, music lover. That is the key. Thank you, music, for putting it very simply. You can run 3-guard lineups, but this team is a completely different dynamic and squad and all that compared to the Thunder and the Pacers. So that's what it is. Oh, wait. Wow. Yo, breaking news. John Gavoni here on TV, the guy that has been covering the whole draft, he said that Utah went ahead and took Ace, and he definitely did not want to go there. Ace Bailey looks pissed off right now. They said he wanted to get to Washington, New Orleans, or Brooklyn. Wow. Wow. Hold on, I gotta tweet about this, man. It's crazy. That's crazy. Now he has to go answer draft questions about Utah, and he doesn't want to be there. That's wild, man. That's wild, bro. That is wild, man. $5 super chat, Brian Pumper. He says, I'll tell you what, RB, I'm happy the Wizards did not get Ace, the under-the-table crap they pulled with Sar last year, and now they tried to get Ace. The Wizards are always going to be the Wizards. Simple as that. Simple as that. The Wizards are a team that finally has a good group of young talent, but then they trade for McCollum, and they have Chris Middleton, all these guys. Jeremiah Fears goes to the New Orleans Pelicans, so prediction is correct, and they get a nice young guard for the future. $2 super chat, John Max says, we got the guy who wanted us, period. He's a dog. I agree with that, John, and I like his mentality, and I like the fact that VJ wants to be here. He talked about the coaches, and he already worked out with Maxey, and he's got that defensive mindset. I like that. I do like that a lot. I just hope he can continue to evolve as we get into the next several years. So how do we feel about VJ Edgecombe on the 76ers? We are still watching the first round of the draft. Could the Sixers trade back up into the first round, or are they done? What do y'all think, man? Now the Brooklyn Nets get screwed because they miss out on all the players they wanted, and the Nets have 5 first-round picks. This could be a potential trade situation. It's interesting there hasn't been trades. I agree, especially with all the reporting. But yeah, man. Have fun in Utah, Ace. You and your agent. Hold on, I got to show you guys this picture, man. Hold on, I got to save this to my page. Yo, Ace is pissed. Ace is pissed. Oh my gosh. Yo, that is crazy. That is crazy. Hold on, I got to show you all this picture, man. Yo, y'all got to see this picture, man. Hold on, I'm sorry. I'm trying to do a bunch of things here. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Hold on, y'all got to see this, man. Y'all got to see this, man. Oh my God. It's like the picture when you graduate from college and you hate your teacher, your professor, and you got to shake their hand anyway. He is envisioning life in Utah right now. Oh my God. It's like the graduation picture when you hate your professor and you hate your school. Yo, that is funny. His agent didn't even advise him to put on a smile because they didn't think he was getting picked by Utah. Oh, man, I love this stuff, man. $2 super chat from Sterling Whitney. Thank you so much. Says, let's make a trade with Paul George and Con Knipple deal. Well, the Sixers are running it back, brother. Daryl Morey is so intent on the 3-star model. They're not doing anything else, man. This is the team. They're running it back. They're adding VJ Edgecombe. And that's where we're at, man. Like I said, I wouldn't even be so mad at Ace if he didn't like do all these other shenanigans, like wearing the Mets jersey and, you know, running away from the person that said, come to Philly and the, you know, canceling the workout the night before. Like, what are you thinking, man? What are you thinking? Speaking of what I'm thinking, in terms of the Brooklyn Nets right now, I think they're either going to take, let's see who's on the board. So now Jeremiah Fears is off. I think, honestly, they either go with Malawach or they trade out. Could they reach and take CMB here? Colin Murray Boyles? Could they take a big? Maybe they take Yeager Demon? I don't know. If they take Noah Asenge, I'm going to laugh. I think Asenge is an interesting prospect, but I don't know if he's ready to be a top 10 guy. We'll go back to this picture and let's see. $5 super chat from Riaz. Thank you so much, man. What's up, Riaz? Good to see you here, man. Assuming we re-sign Quentin Grimes, who is our 4 next year? We don't have one. We don't have one. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. We don't have a power forward. Do we play PG at the 4? Does the focus now go to trying to re-sign Yabu to play the 4? Let me ask you guys in the chat, would you rather re-sign Yabu and let Grimes go after drafting VJ Edgecombe? Because everything that Daryl Morey has said is Grimes is going to be back. We're going to re-sign him, right? They can sign any offer sheet. I've expected this whole time that Grimes would be back, and I still think he will be. But if you do that, then you probably can't re-sign Yabusele, and you're going to need a rebounder. So the Sixers have work to do, and they're going to have to figure it out. They're going to have to figure it out for sure. So that's how I'm feeling. Honestly, at this point, I just think I'm going to laugh at this for a while. I'm going to laugh at this. The fact that he goes to Utah, man. He's so mad. He is so mad. Music says, no, Asenge has the measurements to be interesting in the long run. Yeah, long run. But Brooklyn needs players now, man. Unless they want to be a bad organization for a long time. Ace better brush up on his Utah hockey knowledge. Oh, man. Grimes has to be re-signed. I mean, he played well. He played really, really well. Played well, but so did Yabusele, you know? Played much better. $2 super chat from Green Blaze, the Fly Eagle. Thank you so much. Says, I'm so disappointed, RB. I wanted Trey Johnson. This sucks. Hold on. Here's the pick from Brooklyn. Let's see who they take. Wow, they did it. They did it. Yeager Damon. Yeager Damon out of BYU. That might be a stretch for Brooklyn, man. Probably the best passer in this draft, but his draft stock was starting to fall. His draft stock was starting to fall. And I did not think he was going top 10. That's a stretch, in my opinion, from Brooklyn. We'll see how it plays out. Not really that good of a shooter. Not that consistent of a finisher just yet. Good playmaker, though. Good playmaker. Yeager Damon signed a 6-year-old contract with Real Madrid when he was 15. Went to BYU, and here he is. Top 10 pick. Green Blaze, I wouldn't be so mad over Trey Johnson. I do think if Trey Johnson develops in other areas, like on the defensive side, and, you know, continues to become a better, just a better, well-rounded player, I would say. I think Trey Johnson could end up being one of the best players in this class, but it's going to take time. And the question is, you know, how high can he go? Like, maybe his shot-making ability has him as one of the best 3-and-D guys in the league regardless. Or not 3-and-D, but really just like a spot-up 3 guy that can develop, you know, as an adequate defender. But will he be able to put on, you know, an advanced handle to his game? Will he be able to become like a secondary creator? That's what I think is the biggest question for a guy like Trey Johnson. I'm not mad at the VJ pick at all, though. I'm not mad at the VJ pick. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, though. We'll see how it plays out. I think Daryl Morey's expected to speak to the media tonight as well. So I want to see if we can get an update on that. I thought Yeager Damon would go around like 15, 17. 9 is a reach. But that's what Brooklyn does, man. That's why Brooklyn, you know, continues to be in the same spot. But they do have 5 firsts. So we'll see. Let's cancel some of these out. Let's see if we can get any other updates on Daryl Morey or anything. Ria says, is there any 4s in free agency? I talked about free agency on my last video, or my video on Monday, so check that out. Here's VJ Edgecombe, by the way. Shout out to our boy VJ. There he is. What do we think about that? Good for him, man. Good for him. Good for him. But, yeah, the Sixers probably can't even sign any free agents anyway because they don't have the cap space and they don't want to go into the apron. So I don't think they're going to be able to sign anybody else if they bring back Grimes. So, again, it gets very, very interesting to see what they do now. Because believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, although it's going to a quicker athletic game, guards and wings, you still need a 4. You still need rebounding. Look at the Thunder. They had a guy like Chet. Look at the Pacers. They had Pascal Siakam. I know it's positionless basketball now, but still, I mean, you need guys on your team that can rebound the basketball. That is crazy. That is wild. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are still in here rocking with your boy, drop a fire in the chat. I want to shout some people out. Who's up in the house with me? Where are y'all tapping in from? Let's give some love to the chat, man. I do think there's some really good opportunities at number 5 as well. Or at number 35, excuse me. I talked about a couple players I liked earlier, and we'll talk about it tomorrow too, but they have a really good chance at 35 to get a good player. So, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what happens. Let's see. We got Cool J in the chat. We got Newbie, what's up? Faust, what's up? Spanky Vibes, what's up? King, what's up? Banj, what's up? Dom, what's up? Busy Bee still rocking with us. DZ from Indonesia. Ace looks mad. He really does. Alex in the chat. Shout out to Alex. Everyone in here still crying. Who's crying? Who's crying? We're talking about the draft, dude. We got Daniel tapping in from Easton, PA. Rachel Tyson in the chat. Riaz, what's up? Estelle in the house. Rob, what's going on? Vanilla in the house. Danito, what's up? Wayo, what's going on? D Futures in the house. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you to everybody who's been in here tapping in throughout the entire pre-draft process, who really has been supporting my channel for the last 5 years, man. We've been trying to, put out as much content as we can. We live streamed the entire playoffs, and here we are covering the draft. We'll be covering tomorrow night as well, round number 2, and then I will be going for the weekend as it is my birthday, and then I'll be back on Sunday, or Monday rather, and we will live stream free agency as we usually do. So again, I know some people tap out at the end of the season, but this is a annual, year-long thing. We cover every event. We cover the season, right? We cover every game live, pre-game, live game, post-game. We cover the playoffs. We cover the draft, free agency. So appreciate everybody tapping in. Even if you're not a Sixers fan, we've built a great community of fans from around the world, other fans that aren't even Philly fans that just support us. So appreciate y'all, man. And let's go. Let's go. Who else we got up in here? Busy says, Jokic was drafted in the second round. Don't lose hope. Jared dropping the fires. Strange dropping the fires. G. Lee tapping in from Seattle. Who else we got up in here? Josh, what's up? Antonio, what's good? Joe says, do we take a 4 at 35? I don't know. I don't know, man. Josh says, tank the season and we got this. Cashmaker dropping the fires. Who else we got, man? RB should replace Daryl Morey. I don't know. The phones are open now. We got Ghana in the building. Imagination Studios, what's up? J Matrix, what's up? Riaz says Malawatch to Toronto. I'm guessing that'll be the pick. That would be my pick for Toronto. They've been linked to him the entire time. Let's go. JLC, what's going on, man? Nelson says, I'm about to knock out. Catch you tomorrow, bro. Let's take some calls. Tony in the chat. Who else we got up in here, man? Philly for life supporting us out here. Estelle tapping in from the home of the Blue Coats. Who else? Chris Henry. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. If they really want to give me a birthday present, they'll draft Adu Tiro at number 35 if he's available. If he's available. It's been an eventful night for sure. It's going to be an eventful night tomorrow. And we'll probably stay on for at least like half of the first round. We'll see when Daryl Morey's going to speak. Here comes the Toronto Raptors. Will they take Common Malawatch? Wow. They didn't take Malawatch. They took Colin Murray Boyles at number 9. Wow. Wow, that is interesting, man. That is interesting. Wow. The Nets and the Raptors passed on Malawatch? Wow. I'm surprised they just took Colin Murray Boyles. I really like CMB, but, he's probably going to be one of those, like, really elite role players. Hasn't shown much offensively, can't really shoot. I didn't think he was going in the top 10. That's interesting. He probably worked out and had a really good workout for these teams. That's crazy, man. I'm trying to read out as many comments as I can and shout y'all out, man. I appreciate y'all being in here. Who else we got? Afrocentric $2 super chat says, imagine if we get Hansen Yang at 35. That feels like a Daryl Morey pick, doesn't it? It just feels like a guy Morey would bank on. If they take a big at 35, I'm not mad at that either. Depends who's on the board at the time, but Hansen Yang's been mocked to the Sixers at some points. Ryan Kalkbrenner, a couple others as well. I wouldn't mind taking another backup big, but I think there are some guards and wings that will be available, like Drake Powell or Adu Tiro, guys like that, who I would also enjoy. And don't sleep on Tyrese Proctor. He was on a heater in the March Madness tournament. Really like him out of Duke. Let's see. Who else we got? Double I in the chat. What's up? Lamont says, shout out to the 401. Vanilla says, happy early birthday, RB. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Ban says, I wanted to trade back for Colin Murray Boyles. Busy says, epic fail. Malawach has Dikembe vibes. Malawach is an awesome guy. I was listening to his interview earlier, and that was pretty awesome. Like, Malawach reminds me of Embiid, kind of. Like, he came over as a teenager, had to leave his family behind, and, you know, just went to work. So, shout out to Common Malawach. Who's up now? It's the Houston Rockets, and this pick will be traded to the Phoenix Suns, and the Suns need a big man. Suns need a big man. This is a part of the Kevin Durant trade. So honestly, I think Malawach might go here to Phoenix. First, I thought it was going to be Derek Queen, but honestly, it might be Malawach. Interesting. Interesting. Guys, how do we feel about this team being heavily filled with guards? How do we feel about this team being very heavy on guards and not having a lot of forward depth? I mean, don't sleep on Justin Edwards either, but I still feel like they're going to need more size. Joel Embiid can barely jump. They're going to need guys that can rebound the basketball. So what do we think about that? $2 super chat from Imagination Studios. Thank you so much. Says RB, will you take calls in the Discord? I don't think we're going to take calls tonight because I'm not planning on being on here for the whole first round. But maybe tomorrow. We'll see. $2 super chat, Green Blaze. Thank you so much. Says I want Jace Richardson at pick 35. F. Morey. I don't think Jace will make it to the second round. I mean, he was originally supposed to be a lottery pick, and he came in undersized at the combine, and that kind of really hurt his stock. But Jace Richardson could be a guy that falls into the 20s, and maybe he's a guy you trade up for. But he's another guard, so I feel like they don't need another guard, you know? So that's where I'm at. How do we feel, man? How do we feel? Give me your thoughts in the chat. I'll continue to read them out. I want to make sure y'all know, too, we'll be dropping content on all other platforms as well. You know, so check out our Twitter at RB Philly Take. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Philly Take with RB. We'll continue to bring you the coverage everywhere. Shout out to Philly Take with RB. Shout out to the community. A lot of guards now, man. They will be able to run some iterations of 3-guard lineups, but I do think they're going to need more size at the 4 and the 5 and more quickness as well. Like, they're just going to need more guys. Simple as that. Like, I don't think you can run a 3-guard lineup all the time with Joel Embiid. So we'll see. Let's see. Not good. This is like Hinkie all over again, says Deal. Vincent says VJ's a rebounder. It's one of his appeals. He's a rebounder for his size, right? So he's a guard averaging 5.6 rebounds a game. So I do think he'll be a plus rebounder for his size, but I'm just saying, and I've said this for years, even before this draft, as many of you know, I've always said they need like an Aaron Gordon type. Like, they're going to need a guy that can pull in 8 to 10 boards every night, no matter what. They're going to need a guy that can come in and fulfill that, because Paul George at 35, I don't think is going to be a plus rebounder. Joel Embiid, we still don't have an update, by the way, on Joel Embiid. We still don't have Joel Embiid updated in terms of his knee. We don't know if he's going to be ready or not and how that's going to work. So it is interesting. Let's see. Guys, we got a bomb. We got a Woj bomb. Drop the bombs in the chat. Hold on. Do we have the sirens? Hold on. We got the sirens. Woj bomb. Shams Charania just reported. I just got the notification. There it is. The Charlotte Hornets are trading center Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns, who are technically on the clock right now. This pick is technically with the Rockets, but it is going to Phoenix, and they need a big man. Mark Williams to the Phoenix Suns for the 29th pick and a 2029 first rounder. And here's the selection. Will it be Malawach? There it is. Come on, Malawach. Going to Houston and will be routed to the Phoenix Suns. So the Suns now have a center. They now just traded for a center. So Malawach and Mark Williams will be the replacements in Phoenix. Massimo says you do a great job. Go Sixers. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. So Mark Williams and Common Malawach are going to the Phoenix Suns. This is part of the Kevin Durant trade. So now the Suns have two centers to try to work with. And Charlotte gets a 29th overall pick in the draft. All right, I think it's a good time to maybe give an update on other players that I would look at if I was the Sixers at 35 or try to trade up on. By the way, we got 400 likes, man. Hit that thumbs up button. Get us to 500. Let's go. Let's go. We now have like a next tier of guys that are slipping in the draft. We have guys that are slipping in the draft. So Derek Queen is slipping in the draft. Let's go back to our draft board here. One guy to keep your eyes on is Cedric Coward. He has been a huge draft riser. And he is slipping. Carter Bryant is slipping. Forward out of Arizona. Really like him. Didn't have a lot of on-ball creation opportunities, but he's a 3-and-D forward. Kind of like a plug-and-play piece. I like Carter Bryant. Kasparis Yakchunas is slipping. So they got some guys here, man. Definitely got some guys slipping here. I really like Cedric Coward. I feel like he's going to go in the next 5 picks, but I would like him. And if a couple of these forwards were to fall, this is how I would try to add depth on the Sixers. I would try to trade up and get Rasheer Fleming, a Camden, New Jersey native. I would look, well, now CMB is off the board, so that's one of the options. I like Cedric Coward. I like Rasheer Fleming, excuse me. And who else? Asa Newell still on the board. Leah McNeely, I feel like is going to go in the next 5. So we'll see, man. So now the Suns are rolling the dice with 2 centers. If Fleming is there at 35, I flip cartwheels. I don't know if he'll be there, but I have heard his stock is slipping, so maybe he could be there. That would be nice if you didn't have to move up at all. I'm a high believer in Cedric Coward, though. He only played 6 games this last year, but I think his potential is sky high, off the charts. And he's risen all the way up throughout the pre-draft process, essentially from like mid-second round all the way up to like 15-20 range. So should be interesting. I'm surprised we haven't had any trades in the top 10, though. They really played this up like there would be. But Let's see. Zachary in the chat says, this is a sad night. Terrible draft pick, and Malawach ends up in the worst place possible. Well, he's going to Phoenix, so they are definitely going to have a lot more retooling on their roster to do. So now we are at pick number 11. It'll be the Portland Trailblazers. Who do I think will go here? Obviously, the Trailblazers just made a wild trade to get Drew Holiday. Hold on, we got another Shams bomb. Another Shams bomb. Drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Shams Charania. Wow, there it is. Ladies and gentlemen, I was just talking about him. Isn't that perfect timing? The Portland Trailblazers are drafting Cedric Coward at number 11, and they are trading him to the Memphis Grizzlies. Oh, it's such a good pick, man. I think Memphis was at, what, 16? They are trading up to get Cedric Coward. I think it makes sense from both standpoints, right? Memphis is going to need another forward, another guy that they can count on to come in and handle the rock. They just lost Desmond Bane. And Portland is going to pick up a couple more picks. They just got rid of a couple seconds to get Drew Holiday. Wow, I can't believe he went that high, man. That's a big trade. Big trade. Wow. I think Daryl Morey is currently speaking to the media now. Let's see if we can get his press conference up. Is Daryl Morey speaking right now? Let's see. Where's his press conference being broadcasted at? Are the Sixers live? Let's see. Streaming on SixersLive.com. Okay. I feel like that means that we're done for the night. So we will stay on here for about 4 to 5 more picks, I guess, and then we'll react to some Morey quotes as they come in. Wow. Cedric Coward going to the Portland Trailblazers. That's a great pick. I wonder what they gave up to move up. Telling y'all, man, Cedric Coward. Cedric Coward, keep your eyes on him, man. What a draft riser this year. Historic draft riser. Crazy. Daryl Morey says, we are excited about VJ, dynamic athlete, potential all-star, two-way player. He's got all these winning qualities we think fit. Great teammate. That's what Daryl Morey says about VJ Edgecombe. Let's see. What else can we find? That is probably the end of the night for the Sixers. Shane, what's going on? How are you doing? Let's go. VJ is such a good pick. Simply looking forward to Edgecombe whenever Nurse plays him. Grizzlies are sending number 16, a 2028 first-round pick, and 2 seconds to get Cedric Coward. So they gave up, what, 3 firsts? Or no, 2 firsts and 2 seconds. Wow, that's a lot. But they believe in Cedric Coward. Why would they not stream Morey's thing on here? I don't understand. Let's see. Daryl Morey. Daryl Morey calls VJ Edgecombe a potential all-star. That is interesting. Not going to lie. Potential all-star is interesting. Because I feel like, again, at number 3, you need a guy that you know is going to be an all-star. Just being honest. I still can't believe Danny Ainge really did it, man. He really did that. That's crazy. Shout out to Cedric Coward. And now let's see who else is on the board. Let's see who else. Oh, man. No one wants to hear Crumble Cookie, Daryl. Why did my Raptors pass on Common? I just saw this. Don, what's up, man? Your Raptors took Jaeger Damon and passed on Common Malawach, who goes to the Suns. Now Chicago's on the board. Who will Chicago take? They need a big man. Do they take Derek Queen? Do they take Derek Queen? Guys, we're going to stay on till the end of the lottery. And then, like I said, we'll be dropping content, and we'll be back tomorrow night for number 2. Let's see. Who else we got up in here, man? Still 500 people rocking with us in the chat. Let's go, man. Let's go, man. $2 super chat. Sorry, I missed that. Imagination Studios. He says, a trade must happen. Too many small forwards and shooting guards. VJ equals insurance. Yeah. Good point, Imagination. That will definitely be a talking point for sure. It's going to be hard to really trade anybody other than the couple guys that have player options, right? Like Kelly Oubre and Andre Drummond and Gordon. But they are going to need some more forward depth. I do agree with that. And I've said that all along. And although VJ is a good player, like, yeah, you're right. They will need somehow, some way to upgrade, you know, at the forward position. Being a Sixers fan is like being in an abusive relationship. I'm numb to anything this team does, says Deranged. It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. I still don't, I mean, like I said, the question is, and I've said this the whole time, like, what do they think this roster is going to do next year? Will Joel Embiid and Paul George be able to contribute? If so, then it's a great pick. But if not, you're going to need a guy that can develop into more in the future. Simple as that. Simple as that. Simple as that. Guys, we got another Shams bomb. Drop it in the chat. Shams bomb in the chat. Let's see what we got. Shams Charania. The Atlanta Hawks are trading number 13 in the draft to the Pelicans for number 23 and an unprotected 26 first-round pick. Wow. Wow. Pelicans are making a jump up. They took Jeremiah Fears. Who do they have in mind? Yo, that's 10 picks up. They gave up an unprotected pick next year. That's crazy, man. Wow. That is crazy. That is crazy. Who do they like to jump up 10 spots? I don't know about that. Keep in mind, Chicago's still on the clock right now. It's Chicago and then Atlanta. So the Pelicans just jumped up from 23 up to 13. That is interesting. Daryl Morey says that Joel Embiid is very engaged in his rehab and everything is going according to plan. We expect that to continue, and he's expected to be ready right around training camp. That's what Daryl Morey says in regards to Joel Embiid. Wow, the Bulls took Noah Esenge, the guy that we thought might go to Toronto and maybe even Portland, and now he goes to Chicago, and the Bulls fans are laughing him off. The Bulls fans are laughing him off in the stands. Wow. Noah Esenge goes to Chicago. This guy was playing out in Germany. He literally left in the middle of his finals to come here to the draft, which is wild. So now it's Atlanta on the clock, and it'll be New Orleans, who just jumped up 10 spots. Let's see who they traded up for. Let's see who they traded up for. Shout out to the mods. Shout out to the members in the chat. Y'all have been awesome tonight. Once again, welcome to the Philly Take family. Thank y'all for being here, man. What else has Daryl Morey said? Daryl Morey says, shooting off the dribble is an area where VJ Edgecombe will need to develop. Said Eric Gordon was in a similar place and made major strides, and that he's spoken to Gordon about the similarities. Come on, Daryl. Come on, Daryl. I don't know about that. We're comparing him to Eric Gordon. Come on, bro. Yeah, I don't know about the Eric Gordon comparison. Like, Daryl, we need to get out of the Rockets mindset. We need to get out of like, oh, you know, my former Rockets developed, so I'm going to have him develop VJ Edgecombe. Like, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't like that. And what do you know? Who told you guys throughout the entire pre-draft process that VJ Edgecombe was not really a pull-up shooter? Who told you that VJ doesn't have that much of a dribble and that much of a handle? I did. And then a bunch of Sixers fans got mad about it because you criticized anybody other than Ace Bailey. VJ still has to develop. He's got to develop off the pull-up. He's got to develop a left hand. Simple as that. Simple as that. Maury's infatuation with former Rockets is crazy, says All Clutch. It is wild, man. Here comes the pick at number 13 to New Orleans. Let's see who they traded up for. Probably Derek Queen. Maury's been trying to continue his Houston run since trying to prove his Houston theory correct. That's true. That is true. I want to say I trust Daryl Morey, but if he understood young talent, Isaiah Joe would not have a championship right now. Yeah, RB, that's why I did not want Edgecombe. We know that's why he's a rookie. I'm still surprised that New Orleans jumped up 10 spots right here. I think that's pretty wild in my opinion. But, I mean, Atlanta picked up an unprotected first. This is an interesting philosophy, I would say, for New Orleans. You know, new front office, Joe Dumars. Like, I don't know, man. It's an interesting jump up here, right? They get Jeremiah Fears. And, yeah. And like Houston, Morey has a problem, says Cool J. He really does love the Rockets, man. RB, maybe he can play center. Oh, man. In the end, I'd rather have Trey, but can't change it and can accept that, says Banj. What's up with John A. Broom? Yeah, he'll go in the second. VJ is not more ready than Ace. To be ready, you need to be able to shoot anywhere. Deal says, who knows about the VJ pick, though? Morey can draft. I'm going to be out. Appreciate the stream. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I mean, Morey has a really good track record, so we're going to have to trust in what he did and said. So, yeah. All right, here we go. The pick is in, number 13, Atlanta Hawks. Who will they take? Wow, Derek Queen. Yo, hold up. The Pelicans traded up 10 spots to get Derek Queen? Look, I like Derek Queen. Big-time player at Maryland this year as a freshman. Hit that game winner. Might struggle trying to find his position, you know, between a 4 and a 5. He's got a nice little dribble pull-up game, nice little mid-range game. So not really the most athletic guy, but I'm surprised they traded up 10 spots. I'm surprised they traded up 10 spots to get him. That is interesting. And they gave up an unprotected first to do it. Wow. Wow. That is interesting. Not going to lie. Not going to lie. Let's see. Maybe he should go back there. Trade VJ for Jordan Clarkson. Says DZ JS says Zion fears Queen all the pool party. That's a good one. Yeah, they trade for Jordan Poole. They pick up Jeremiah Fears and now Derek Queen. That's either going to go really good or really bad. Can't wait to play teams with actual big men, and I'll scream if I'm at the game, but hey, put VJ in. You need more guards, not a healthy center, says Zach. Zach is obviously frustrated. Riaz says, do you think Bailey becomes a malcontent in Utah would be career suicide? You know, Riaz, before we get to that, I'm wondering if they're even going to come to a agreement on a contract. Is Ace's agent going to hold out now? This is going to be an interesting story to see play out. That's going to be interesting. Imagination says, I want to trade. We remember Jaden Springer. Yeah, that would be the worst case scenario is if VJ can't develop at all as a pull-up shooter, as a dribbler. as a creator and just becomes like a 3-and-D guy at number 3. But, you know, you got to hope and see. I mean, Morey has hit on a lot of draft picks, so we'll see how it plays out. I do think he was very enamored with VJ's mentality and his personality, the way he held himself throughout this process, but we will see. Another thing that he said was Nick Nurse was heavily involved in this process. Maxey, George, and Embiid wanted to come to Edgecombe's workout, but only Maxey could get to it. And you had Paul George on his podcast this last 24 hours saying, yeah, Ace has to grow up and, you know, you need to get to the league first. So I knew that the Sixers weren't going to take Ace when Paul George is saying these things on his podcast, but that's kind of where we're at, man. It does make sense, though. Like, Daryl Morey's trying to win now. Daryl Morey said Ace Bailey's refusal to work out did not play a part in their decision. So he's trying to say they're sold on VJ. I think it makes sense because Daryl Morey, you know, again, is working for his job right now. Like, we know if things don't go well next season, all hell's going to break loose. So I do think Daryl Morey is drafting the win now piece. Are you happy with VJ given the current roster not having a lot of center and forward depth? I still think they need more depth, but we need to know if Joel and PG are going to be healthy. Simple as that. Are they going to be able to play most of the games? If not, then I don't know how this pick is going to work out. I do find it interesting that Danny Ainge was the guy that called the bluff and not Daryl Morey, because I feel like Morey is the type to do that, but you got to live with it now, you know? And we'll see how VJ performs. Because the question is Ace Bailey going to go to Utah now and just like not try and nonchalantly give up? But then that gives a bad signal to other teams. So the Spurs get Carter Bryant out of Arizona, another great pick for San Antonio. So they pick up Dylan Harper, and now they pick up Carter Bryant out of Arizona. Nice 3-and-D wing. I like Carter Bryant a lot. I figured he'd get picked number, around number 10, number 11, but got picked in the top 15. And now OKC is on the board. All right, should we stay on for one more pick? What do you guys think? Should we stay on for one more pick and see who the champions get? I can't believe the Thunder have the 15th pick. They almost had a top 10 pick. All right, man, we'll stay on for one more pick, and then we will get back at it tomorrow night. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all have not yet hit that thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We've been breaking it down all night, reacting to the picks. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. We'll have more content out there tonight. But the Sixers have VJ Edgecombe. Ace Bailey goes to Utah. Couple surprises here in the mid first round. And we'll talk about Daryl Morey's quotes as well tomorrow. $10 super chat, Hayden Azanaro. Thank you so much. Hold on, where are we at? There we are. Hayden, what's up, bro? He says, I'm hyped, man. I think VJ's going to have a lot of opportunities, especially finishing-wise. College defense and NBA are very different. College hoops is more clogged. He's going to feel very good, I think. Yeah, I don't think anybody's questioning VJ's talent. I don't think we're questioning his talent, and I really like his hard work mentality. I think he's going to be in the gym, improving. Again, I think the question is, what is the Sixers roster going to look like? Is Joel and PG going to get back to form? If so, I think VJ makes a lot of sense. I'm happy with the pick, and I think he's going to help impact winning in a multitude of ways. I think he's going to impact winning in a multitude of ways from day one. I think he's going to do some really good things on the defensive side of the ball. Definitely provide some creative opportunities for, certain 3-guard lineups and, You know, he's going to have to develop and continue to develop, but I still like the pick. I still am interested to see what happens with Ace now that he went to Utah. But then again, like I said, the entire draft process, I wanted Ace Bailey. I think he's the better fit. I think he has the higher ceiling. A lot of Sixer fans disagreed with me and argued with me and, oh, I didn't watch this, I didn't watch that. I think Ace Bailey's going to be a really good player. At the same time, I think his agent handled it terribly. They got screwed anyway. I think Ace Bailey would have been a really good fit here in Philly. And I think he is also like going into the long term. If Joel and PG don't work out, I think Ace Bailey would have been a really good fit with Maxey, McCain, Grimes, etc. But I don't like how he handled the situation. So at that point, there's not much you can do about it. But I do think VJ will impact the game somehow. The question is, how much is he going to play alongside Maxey, McCain, and Grimes? You know, like how much will they really play him? That's a big question. This is number 3. I mean, you have to get a guy who's going to really be a solid long-term player. So yeah, that's how I feel. $2 super chat. Hayden Azanaro says running back Philly was pissed. Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to running back, you know, offline, and like I said, we felt like the only two that were still on the Ace train, but you know, I guess there's not much they could have done. I mean, Ace Bailey really tried to direct where he wanted to go, and now he got screwed anyway and went to Utah. So I just hope that it doesn't turn into another Danny Ainge, Markelle Fultz, Jason Tatum thing where, you know, Ace Bailey goes to Utah and Ainge does it again, and then Ace Bailey becomes a stud. But we'll see. But he got screwed anyway. As a Clippers fan, I feel bad for you guys not drafting Ace. I mean, there's not much they could have done. See if we have any other major Daryl Morey quotes. Daryl Morey, I think we'll have one of the best backcourts in the league. Well, that's a certain, man. We know that, but are they all going to be able to play? Everybody says draft best available, draft best available. Yeah, but the guy you draft has to be better than all the other options by a lot to draft best available, you know? Because the Sixers still have to make decisions on guys like Lonnie Walker and Jared Butler, so they're going to have a lot of potential guards on this team, and they're going to have to figure it out. Simple as that. And they still have no power forward. They still have no power forward on this team. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. It's unfathomable to me that an NBA GM is doing a press conference during the draft when everyone in the league is actively trading. That's a good point. That's a good point. Look at that, man. Look at that, man. Shout out to him. Let's go, VJ. Maybe we can do what a bunch of Sixer fans said last season. They kept saying, let's play Andre Drummond at power forward. We'll play 2 bigs, Drummond and Embiid. I'm sure that'll go smooth. I'm just kidding, by the way. People like to, they like to take everything I say and then like bring it up 5 years later. And, you know, people try to criticize everything I've ever said on this channel. So I'm kidding, by the way. Let's see. We'll run Eric Gordon at power forward. If we could grab Wolf, he'd be a bigger Con Knipple. Do you want Yabu and Grimes to leave RB? Nah, I think Grimes will be back. I think Yabu will be gone. Let's see. OKC won the finals playing 7 guards. Once again, the Thunder are a completely different team than the Sixers. The Thunder are not built around a 7-foot, 280-pound center that dominates the paint and the ball runs through him. You know what I mean? So we got to stop comparing the Sixers to the Thunder. Maybe we can get the Sixers to be like the Thunder, but then you'd have to get rid of Joel Embiid and Paul George. So those are the things that have to change. Let's see who the Thunder take now. Thomas Sorber, that's a good pick. That's who I figured they were going to select after CMB went off the board. So now the Thunder get another big man. They didn't even need another player anyway, but there we go. RB, would you go after Jaylen Brown or Derek White? Honestly, I don't think I would. Maybe Derek White, but I feel like you'd have to give up too much, and Jaylen Brown's on a very crazy contract, so Celtics going to be interesting to see what they do, for sure. They've already started it. Anyway, man, that's where we're at. Usually this is around the time we would get to the Sixers pick, but we are well beyond it. I feel like I've given all my thoughts tonight, so if you missed part of the stream, go back, check it out. And I just want to thank everybody for hanging in here with me, man. I really appreciate y'all supporting all the coverage throughout the last couple months after the season, into the playoffs, you know, draft lottery. We got free agency coming up. We'll be back for the second night of the draft tomorrow. Definitely some real good players that could be there at 35. So we will talk about all of it, but I appreciate y'all. Make sure you follow us everywhere. Like the show, subscribe to the show, and join the Discord. Join the Discord as well. All the links down below, and we'll be talking a lot more about this. Lastly, once again, shout out to Mando. Use the code PhillyTake5 over on shopmando.com and get 20% off and free shipping site-wide. Any item using the code PhillyTake5. They just sent me this new deodorant with the sweat control. Shout out to Mando. Doing it bigger and doing it better. And it's like 100 degrees outside, so you can't sweat. You don't want to sweat right now. So check out Mando. Go to shopmando.com. Link is pinned in the chat. All right, man. That's where we're at. We're going to get out of here. If the Sixers do, for some reason, trade back in after Daryl Morey's press conference, then we will either hop back on live or drop a video. But it feels like they are done for tonight. If they do make a trade, we will drop some content, though, and we will cover it. Anyway, that's where we're at, man. That's where we're at. NBA Draft 2025, day number 1 for the Sixers in the books. Your newest Sixer, VJ Edgecombe, out of Baylor, heading to Philadelphia. Thank you all for rocking with me, man. Philly Take with RB. I'm RB. I'll catch y'all tomorrow night, man. We're back at it for day 2. Enjoy the rest of your night. See y'all. Peace.